All right, just say your name and spell it, please.
Joe Misiewicz, Misiewicz.
What could we give you as your official title?
The official title, I guess, would have to be Director of the Teleplex. There's a lot of little subtitles, but Director of the Teleplex seems to be the new one that's floating around right now.
The new one.
The new one.
Trendy.
I know.
What kind of opportunities are there for students in the Teleplex?
Well, there are several opportunities, I think, for students that come to Ball State and work in the Teleplex. The academic program is broken down into 4 components: corporate video and audio, production, straight radio and TV news production, a news option, and then sales and management. So when students do come in, they have a choice of taking one of those 4 tracks. Each of those tracks requires students to do 15 hours of coursework outside of radio TV to kind of give them better grounding in some other disciplines. And the other thing that's kind of unique right now is that we also require students to do 4 semesters of a modern or classic language, so that all the students from TCOM will graduate with a BA degree and at least have, we hope, some minimum capabilities in both writing and speaking of a modern or classic language.
There are also several opportunities outside the academic classroom.
Yeah, there's quite a few opportunities like that. We've got WIPB, which is a PBS affiliate, WBST, which is an NPR affiliate, WCRD, which is an AM station that is really controlled by the students and run by the students in the dorms, WCRH-TV, Channel 44, which is a dorm-only TV station, which operates 18 hours a day, WBSU, Channel 5, which is a cable system that's shown in Muncie, but students are getting more and more active in producing the programs for that. The students are very much engaged in producing some programs on WIPB, the PBS affiliate. That station goes out to 153 cities through cable systems and over the airwaves. So the opportunities, just from professional station standpoint, are very unique. And again, much of those opportunities are geared towards students being not only actively involved, but being pretty much responsible for either doing the newscast on the NPR affiliate. They totally program CRD, they totally program CRH, the TV operation. And along with that, there's 4 or 5 very good student organizations that are tied to national organizations. And the chapters that we run here are very active, both on the regional level as well as the national level.
So there's quite a bit of opportunity for students to get their hands on.
The program is really geared that way. It's really a practical application of some theories. As a student migrates through the program, they'll discover that while we don't avoid theories and we don't avoid discussions about theories, the majority of the emphasis eventually comes down to students applying those theories. We're not nearly as much concerned with can you push the button on the camera and can you focus as much as we are the content that's going into that shot and the visualization of it or the writing of it, so that much of the emphasis is placed on writing as well as speaking, and really an attempt to de-emphasize this whole area of the technology right now. We've been very fortunate in keeping up with the technology. We've added digital audio editing. We've added digital video editing. The building itself, the Edmund F. Ball building, communications building, is valued at about $18 million right now. It's got a wide variety of editing facilities for students to check out as majors. A media lab is pretty fully equipped for them to come in up till 10 o'clock at night and on weekends to do editing of projects or do rehearsals. Same thing with the 5 studios. There are 5 TV studios in the building. There are 4 radio studios in the building. And again, with their ID card, they can sign up for studio time, check out that facility, and do the rehearsals and practice that they need to do to turn out a good professional product.
Yesterday was really kind of neat. I was here at 10 o'clock in the morning. There was nothing going on. Came back at 5 o'clock in the evening, and they were preparing for the debate, live debate on television. The campus report card was going on the air. They just finished with Steve Bell's newscast earlier in the day.
Right.
And things really get busy.
Things do. I mean, we've got several groups now. One of the groups on Thursday nights produces 3 half-hour shows for cable channel 12 in town, which is a new venture that we're into. We're just about to put on the air the Southside High School FM station. That station broadcasts in the morning from 9, well, it broadcasts daily from 9 to 3. And what will happen is that we'll take over at 3 o'clock and keep the FM signal on the air throughout the rest of the day. So it's a cooperative venture, first in the country with that kind of opportunity. And like you say, with WIPB, campaigns and auctions and the various things that PBS stations do. We do the coaches shows. We do a women's health show. We do a women's athletic show now. We've got students who are assistant producers on all those shows. We've got students who are doing the crew for those shows. More and more they're getting involved in shooting some underwriting spots. That coupled with the student groups who are pretty much active 4 to 5 days a week in the studios, the place kind of lights up at night, and I suspect it charges up the electric bill quite well.
What is the future for students studying communications at Ball State?
Well, that's a very interesting.
With specific.
I think it's going to really shift gears, because I think what we're seeing more and more is a real development of product for PCs. And while in a couple instances when I've talked with student groups, I've suggested that 3 to 5 years from now when they come back, our studios will just be storage places, or they'll be cafeterias, because what'll be happening is what's happening right here. There'll be portable cameras. There'll be the fly packs that you can just put up next to the camera and send it any place in the world from any location. And most of the editing and most of the creative work will take place at somebody's desk on a PC. They'll be able to add the graphics. They'll be able to do the flips. And we won't need a complete TV control room or a complete editing bay to do those things. And so I think as that happens, we've got to get students used to not only doing interviews and interview shows and news shows, but we've got to get students used to producing product that is educationally sound or informative, that people can put into their CD-ROM or to their PC, and it has some sense and logic to it as you go through it, which is a whole different way to produce product. So we really are starting to lean in that direction more and more. We do have a new AT&T lab in the building that has 10 units. Those 10 units do allow students to produce multimedia projects, bring in audio and video and slides and graphics. And we're finding that students are pretty shy about doing that, because they're quite used to being in a studio and putting up an interview set and doing a traditional television program. I don't think those programs are going to go away, but I do think that they're going to become a little easier to do, and the emphasis is going to be on producing these new products that either corporations, executives, companies, students, classrooms can use on PCs.
What do our graduates go on to do nowadays?
Well, the biggest program still relates to sales and management. I still think that Ball State makes its mark there on a regular basis. More and more students going into promotion of radio and TV products, as well as other companies. The sales training, I think, is so strong that while some of them may not go into radio, TV sales, they do go into sales, and they do quite well. So that really, I think, is still the bulk of our alumni base. The news program has grown significantly with the addition of Steve Bell from ABC News, who has now joined the staff. And I think Steve has given us some real impetus to try and focus on news more and more, and several other staff members who have come along that are doing that. We've always been strong in production, but the production market continues to change and gets a little smaller, and as the equipment gets a little easier to use, you just don't need as many staff people to do certain productions. The corporate market continues to grow, but not in leaps and bounds. But we are more and more placing students in corporate jobs with hospitals, with major insurance companies, so that they're producing audio-visual video products to use internally. Beyond that, we have a large contingent of alumni now in Los Angeles. We have a large contingent right now in the Chicago area, a growing contingent in Florida. And I'm not sure we have any rationale for why that's happened, other than we do run one of the country's largest internship programs. All 3 semesters of the school year, summer, fall, and spring, we average anywhere between 50 and 70 students placed in internships nationwide. And more of these students are being placed outside of Indiana. And they're forming their own little alumni groups in these cities. So it's kind of interesting to watch that develop as well.
Anything else you'd like to add about?
I think this whole telecommunications information highway situation is going to be really challenging, not only for students but for faculty. With everything merging, I think the next big challenge for us is to treat the department almost like a business as opposed to an academic unit. And I think that means a lot of cooperative ventures, a lot of cooperative efforts, and reaching out to maybe other stations in the state, other programs in the state, taking strengths and taking weaknesses and merging some things together so that overall we provide a really strong product. And part of the way we're doing that is with our alumni group, who have really been very big supporters, and we're about to embark on a fairly intensive faculty internship program so that all of our faculty will go back and retool in the areas of expertise and kind of marry themselves up to one or two of the alumni who are doing it for a living. And the faculty will kind of track them for about 6 months, and that'll get launched in 1995 as a major effort of the department. So I think we've got to keep our faculty up to snuff on what's going on, and that'll be kind of a new and exciting thing to get our faculty back out in the field.
Sounds good.
Cool beans,
Now
man.
can you juggle on camera for me?
Now, everybody can ask me to juggle.